Now let's embark on our journey to make our first Unity project. Absolutely make sure that you watch me before you do this yourself. Don't even touch your mouse. There's going to be a lot of explaining, there's going to be a lot of different things happening, so it'll be very easy to get lost if you try to follow along exactly as I do it during the video. So make sure you just watch and then you do after. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our very first Unity project. And the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to create a folder to save all of the projects that I'll be working on for this project and for any future projects as part of this course. So first I'm going to get organized and I'm going to right click on my desktop. I'm going to create a new folder and I'll call it Create with Code. And then I'll just put my name on it and I'm just going to drag it to the side. So I put this folder on my desktop just to make it a little bit easier to find so that I have quick access to all my different projects as I make them. But feel free to store it wherever you want to. Just make sure you keep track of where you're storing it because we'll actually need that in just a second. Because next I'm going to open up Unity Hub. So I'll double click on that. So now that I have Unity Hub open, I have my projects tab, I have that learn tab, I have the installs tab. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to create a new project. And in order to do that, I'm actually going to select the new button, but specifically, I'm going to use the little arrow on the very right side of the new button. Because in fact, I actually have two different versions of Unity on my computer. And so I want to make sure that I use 2018.4. So if I click on that, now we have a new page that opens. And now Unity Hub is asking me for a couple of different pieces of information. So the very first one you might notice, very big right in front of you, takes up most of the screen, is it's asking for templates. Now, there are a couple of different ones. There's 2D, there's 3D, there's 3D with extras, there's all these other ones on the bottom. So, as a way to make your life a little bit easier, you can actually choose which template you want to use when you're creating your project. So, we can actually, if we wanted to make a 2D game, we could just use the 2D template. A lot of the editor will be set up in a way that makes it easier for us to make that project. In our case, we're actually making a 3D project. So we're going to stick with that for now because we're making this game in 3D space. Now, we're going to create the name for our project. So in this case, our project is called Prototype 1. So I'm going to type that into that section there. Now you see, it's bringing up this problem, path already exists. I actually have a different project called Prototype 1. This is why organizing your folders is very important. I want to make sure that I actually save this in the right folder that I want. So I'm going to select the location by clicking on the three dots on the side of the location. So on my desktop, I have my Create with Code folder. So I'm going to select that. So this will make sure that the project is saved inside of this folder that's here on my desktop. So select folder. So now I can save my project into that desktop folder. I'm going to click the Create button. And now Unity will actually start setting up my project. And it'll take a little bit. There's a couple of things it has to do before we get to the editor. As a kind of cool addition, if I actually select this Create with Code folder, you can actually see now in that folder is that Prototype 1 folder. That was not there before. And if I actually select it, you can see all of the different folders that it's creating to actually create this project that we're going to start with. And there we go. Cool. So we have Unity open. Now there's a lot of things happening on this screen, and we'll break it down piece by piece as we go through and start creating our little project. But take a look. You can see there's a bunch of cool things happening. It might be a little bit overwhelming for now, but that's okay because we're going to get started with creating our very first project in Unity. So what you're going to do now is create your own folder on your desktop or wherever you want it to be. Just make sure that you know where it is. And then you're going to open up Unity Hub. Once Unity Hub is open, you're going to go to the new button. Make sure you select the drop down so you can create your project in the proper version of Unity, 2018.4. It'll open up this new window and it'll ask you what templates you want to use. Make sure you have 3D selected. Name your project Prototype 1. Make sure you select the proper location of where you're going to save your project. In my case, on the desktop where my Create with Code folder is, make sure that I click into it so that way it's selected. And then I click Select Folder. So this is where my projects are going to be saved. You can even see this is the location of the folder that I'm using, the desktop Create with Code, so that's good. I'm going to click Create, and then it will create our very first Unity project, which might take a little bit, so just be a little patient. And then once your computer is done setting up Unity, you'll see the editor open up, and you'll see this whole new view that we'll get started working in. So now it's your turn.